Welcome to Phil Wilson Chats with Celebrities. And here's your host, Phil Wilson.
Best known for their legendary hits, You To Me Are Everything, Can't Get By Without You, and Can You Feel the Force, as well as their groundbreaking 1977 song, which is the year that I was born, actually, Children of the Ghetto. The Real Thing remain Britain's most successful black group of all time. Pioneers in soul, funk and dance music, the two original members, Amoo and Dave Smith, are now celebrating 50 years in the music industry and still gigging across the world. And the band's success and longevity is unprecedented in British entertainment history. And the marvellous Amoo of The Real Thing joins us now. How are you doing, Chris?
What more can I say? Right, that's the interview done then.
That's right. Thanks very much. Merry Christmas. So, yes, you've been very, very busy. I mean, 50 years in the music industry. How does that feel?
Do you know something? Don't really think about it because it was something that we were always going to do from when we were 14.
Right.
And I'm just proud of the fact that it's given us what it's given us, and that we're still here now enjoying it as much as we did then, you know. And that in itself it just makes me feel proud and makes me feel great, you know.
It's absolutely amazing as well, and your music is doing very, very well on all the streaming platforms, even to this day. You know, hundreds of thousands of streams, every month, and that it's just amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's and once again, it's something that you never thought of when you were actually recording the songs or releasing songs. Yeah. Let's be totally honest. I mean, you have a number one. And once that sort of generation, let's say, has passed on to the younger generation, the number one is just another number one, you know, basically. And sometimes you don't even remember them, to be honest. But usually, I don't know, it just keeps going, you know.
I think it's because it's a dance tune as well, really. You know,
a lot of dance tunes. There's a lot of dance tunes that you see. The thing about dance tunes is that they're only popular while you're doing the dances that the tune is aimed at.
Yes.
So it's more than it being a dance tune. It's got something about it. The actual ambience of the song has got something about it that just generates with any generation, you know.
I think it's got everything in it. All of your songs has got that wonderful bass line, the melody, and everything. You know, the did. You know, I remember that bit. You know, of "Can't Get By Without You." You know, that's a little thing that clicks in my head when somebody says that song. It's "'Cause I love you, did I need you." You know, it makes it catches on to you, doesn't it?
It does, and that's basically what it's all about. You know, it's getting those little bits of magic on a piece of vinyl that make the record, you know. I can assure you that lots of people could have recorded them two songs and they wouldn't have meant a thing. But just, you know, apart from ourselves, just a little bits of magic on that day when they were recording that come onto the record, that's what makes a classic.
Definitely. Yes, still being played to this day, which is amazing. Now, established in Toxteth, Liverpool in 1972, The Real Thing actually has its roots in the 60s vocal harmony group, The Chants, Britain's first black a cappella quintet. Yeah.
The Chants had nothing to do with The Real Thing.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people make that mistake. They were way before The Real Thing. That's number one. Yeah. The connection is my brother Eddie was with the Chants, but Eddie was not with The Real Thing when The Real Thing started. So basically, the Chants as a unit inspired us because we wanted to make a living out of the music business. We saw through them that even though they weren't successful record-wise, that you can have a living. And Eddie taught me things, how to play little things to enable me to form my own group, which was The Real Thing. And then about 5 years after The Real Thing had been going is when Eddie joined the band.
Yes, because I was just...
It's something that's important to us, because I don't like to be caught up in generations.
Oh, no, of course not. Because
People in the chance were one generation. The Real Thing and the OJs and people like that were another.
Because I was just going to say the Chance Britain's First Black a cappella quintet, founded by your older brother Eddie.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
They once again, they you see, coming from Toxteth, as we all do, everybody is connected in some way. Everybody.
Yes.
And they formed the same way we formed. They were all kids knocking around together.
Yes.
Who had a dream. And so were we. We were kids knocking around. We had a dream. Because you got to understand, Liverpool, Toxteth, there was only 3 things that were going to get you around the world.
Out there.
Successful. You either had to kick a ball, punch a man, as in boxing.
Yes.
They were the 3 things that were going to get you to heights that you could only dream of. They were the only 3 things. I was no good at arithmetic. Dave was
like
no
me.
good at geography. You know, what we were good at was listening to American music,
right,
being inspired by it, and making our minds up at a very early age that we were not going to do anything else.
Wow, amazing.
That's what we were going to do. And like I say, we used to watch the Black American bands, because when I was, let's say, when I became of an age where I became interested in music, it was all Rolling Stones, Beatles, New Faces, all them type of bands on television on top of the pop. So basically, there was nobody that looked like us on there.
No one for somebody to connect with.
There was no black people on there, basically. No black people. Because it hadn't broken through then. The very odd Motown thing, but nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And we learned from the Black Americans coming in off the base, Burtonwood, which was near Liverpool.
Right.
And if they were going to go out for a weekend, for a night out, where were they going to go? To meet their own people, really?
Yes.
They're going to come to Toxteth. And with them, they brought all the records that you don't hear on the radio.
Wow.
Records that they bought on the base, the American soul music. They brought it in with them. And that's where we got our inspiration from musically. Nowhere else. It was the American bands inspired us with our music. And so, you know, Toxteth was a very special area at that time for music and for boxing, because with boxing you had Muhammad Ali and all them to look at.
That's right.
You know, and for football, you had Brazil. You know, so they were the 3 things that in Liverpool. And you know what was fantastic about Toxteth? Every single friend that I had in Toxteth, every single guy that I knew in Toxteth had a white parent.
Oh my goodness.
Every single one, whether it be a white father and a black mother, or a black mother and a white father, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Every single person that I knew. So it was a very special place.
Very special, yes.
Place, you know. And it wasn't until you got older and become more politically aware that you realised that there was a world out there that we weren't getting our fair share of.
No.
Hence the riots and things.
Yes, of course. Yes.
But like I say, the safest place and the the most comfortable place for growing up was Toxteth in Liverpool.
Amazing.
That's what inspired Children of the Ghetto.
Amazing track it is as well. Now, please can you tell us the story of how things progressed, as I have read that Paul McCartney gave a bit of a helping hand.
Basically, we were singing along in our living room for about 2 years, I'd say.
Right.
Learning how to harmonise, how to sing. And then we started doing talent competitions around Liverpool. And as we became better, we went to see an agent because we won a talent competition. Can't remember which one. It was just a local.
Yes.
One of the prizes where an agent will take you on and start getting you work.
Excellent.
And we won one of them. And we met two very important people in our lives. A guy called Ted Lamb and Ted Lamb and Frank Delaney.
Right.
And them two people were very instrumental in putting us on the right track, because they introduced us to a guy called Lou Fine, who introduced us to our manager from then till the day he died 3 years ago, Tony Hall.
Wow.
And basically, we started then by going out and doing all these little gigs around Liverpool. That opened up the world to us, because all of a sudden we were going out of Toxteth into areas where we couldn't get to before, because we weren't being welcome there before.
Yeah.
But because we were singers and we were the group, we were welcome. So that opened a new world to us. And as time progressed, we did Opportunity Knocks.
Yes, Huey Green.
And we won Opportunity Knocks, which made us into a national group. We were known throughout the whole of England then. So we started to get work, proper gigs.
Yes.
All around England and in 1 or 2 places abroad, like Holland, because we were starting to get known then.
Barry Collins.
And sorry about that. And we were starting to get pretty well known then. As a result of that, we met David Essex.
Yes.
Well, we met Jeff Wayne, first of all. And with Jeff Wayne, we started doing I started, and the group started a lot of jingles, like Cadbury's Dairy Milk.
Oh,
Wrigley's
right.
Special, all them type of things.
Yes.
Right? He introduced us to David Essex because he was doing David's album at the time. Because as you know, he produced David Essex.
Yes.
And he was going on tour with David Essex. And he wanted us to do David Essex's backing vocals.
Wow, amazing.
And so David Essex took us on tour with him. But not only did he take us on tour, we actually did our own show before he come on. So we were getting really well known to all the David Essex fans as well. And television. He took us on Top of the Pops with him a few times, and we were singing on his hit records, doing the backing vocals.
Yeah.
And basically that led to You To Me or Everything.
Which is absolutely amazing. I mean, the group, The Real Thing, performed a cover version of Grazing in the Grass and easily won the Opportunity Knocks show with Huey Green, getting the highest score for your episode. How did that feel to get where you were going to on this fabulous, iconic show?
We felt like pop stars. We felt like pop stars. We felt great, because that was big. That was big. That was going to lead you on to something that was beyond your dreams, Because in them days, let's be honest, that was huge. It had millions of viewers.
That's right. There was only the 3 channels.
Yeah, and we won, So it was quite amazing. It really was amazing winning that. And that was the start of it all, I would say. that was the start of it all. You know,
because as soon as you went on the show, was it like, did you just thought this is going to be the big time, things are going to change for the real thing, you know, overnight kind of thing, with it being such a massive show that the whole family, you know, across the country would sit and watch there, not like these days, but people would sit and watch, and, you know, they would see the real thing.
well, let's put it this way. We knew that it was going to be a big opening.
Yeah.
But it's more of an opening if you win it. And we won
exactly.
But even had we not won it, at least we'd have been on major TV. But, you know, the danger of that is people will forget after a couple of weeks.
Yes, that's true.
Unless you get a record deal from it and the record's a hit or something. As a matter of fact, we never ever had problems getting record deals, really. Because our manager, Tony Hall, extremely well respected in the music business. But it certainly led to record companies spending money on us.
Yes.
And wanting to do the business. So, you know, Opportunity Knocks was the start of it all. It really was. It was the start of it all.
And did Huey give you plenty of encouragement on the show?
We had a big to-do with him in that what he used to do is, if you won and you went back, he would get you in his office and he would say, okay, what's my show done for you? What kind of deals have come up for you? And, you know, and me, like, turned around and said, well, Huey, we can't really say anything at the moment because there are quite a few companies interested and we don't... What, he said? You effing this? You will tell me what this and that? Who told you not to say this? And we says, well, our manager, Tony Hall. He says, that's not your manager. Your manager's Lou Fine. And we said, no, we've signed with Tony Hall. He says, he had Tony Hall thrown out the studios. He had him thrown out. And he said, you will go back to Lou Fine or you'll never appear on my show again. Right? And he was still going on 2 minutes before we went on, because you used to have to walk up the stairs and then down onto the stage. And as soon as Opportunity Knocks and music come on, his face went from effing and blinding us at the bottom of the stairs to a big smile. Well, lads, what have you done? And this and that and the other. So we never won it again, as he said we wouldn't. No. And but we'd sort of had what we needed out of it by then.
Exactly, yes. All that stardom. Yes, well, put you on the road to stardom, actually. Now, after the demise of the Chance, your older brother, Eddie Amoo, joined The Real Thing full-time, making the band a quartet, and the group signed with Pie Records and released a brilliant new single, Stone Cold Love Affair, written by Ron Roker and Jerry Shurry, which became a big club hit both in Europe and in the US. You, like you mentioned earlier there, you toured with David Essex extensively, including his American Limelight tour. What was life like on the road here in the UK and in America?
Fantastic here, because he introduced us to a way of working that we would never have experienced, you know, because David Essex was absolutely enormous.
Huge.
Eddie wasn't with us. Eddie wasn't with us when we worked with David Essex originally.
Right.
And neither was he on Stone Cold Love Affair.
Right.
They came simultaneously, and we'd done Stone Cold Love Affair while we were working with David Essex.
Right. You know? Okay.
And David, as I say, took us to America. But the reason for us going to America with him was as backing vocalists for him.
Right.
We didn't know we'd be doing our own show there. And then one morning he come down and he said to us, we've been there about a couple of days. And he says, we want you to do your own show. And we said, well, we can't. We haven't got our band. So our manager went,
right.
I'll get you the band. Now, you've got to understand that our manager was the first white producer, and especially not a non-American, to produce a black jazz record on Blue Note Records in America.
Right. Yes.
Right. And he managed, the only other person he used to manage was a guy called Paul Buckmaster,
Right.
who used to do all Miles Davis's arrangements, string arrangements.
Amazing.
Okay?
Amazing.
So our manager made a couple of phone calls, and we went into rehearsals the next morning, and we had Miles Davis's band backing us. It was unbelievable.
I bet it was.
Davis, the premier musicians in the world,
Yeah,
backing you. In front of Rod Stewart and Britt Eklund was in the audience, because it was a specially invited audience for the David's record company that night.
right.
But everyone was there. Ringo was there.
Amazing.
Rod Stewart was there with Britt Eklund. Everyone was there. The Stones, Ronnie Wood from the Stones, and that was there. And we got a standing ovation. But it was the band, I think, who got the standing ovation. But anyway, it was great. And it changed our whole perception of how we wanted to work when we came back to England. And I think that that's what put us ahead of anybody similar to us at the time who were going round.
Because in the US there, The Real Thing headlined at the famous Bottom Line Club, which is where you'll have been talking about there, which was in New York's Greenwich Village, performing with three of the hottest black musicians in the city, which was John Lee, Reggie Lucas and Jerry Brown, who you mentioned played with Miles Davis. Now, what was it? What was the feeling like when Miles Davis's seasoned jazz musicians were there backing you? Well, I bet it was magical.
It was unbelievable. It was. I can't say anything else. It was fantastic, and they taught us a lot. They said, "Look, you're a bit old-fashioned,
right,
at the moment." He said, "You shouldn't be doing them dance routines because they don't do that anymore." He says, and he said, "Be yourselves." So off went the stage gear. Because we were pretty hip anyway, even in our stage gear. We were very, very different to everybody else at the time. But even so, that night, I remember we went on in our denims and everything on the Bottom Line. And I tell you, we had a great review. I've never been able to find it. I wish I could. But we had a great review in Rolling Stone magazine.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It changed. When we were getting on the plane, our manager, Tony Hall, said to us, "You're not going to be the same people when you get back here after you've been in New York and LA." And he was right. Because we played at the Roxy in LA as well, which is a very famous place.
Wow, yes, very much so. Yes, very highbrow, as it were. Now, on the return to the UK, The Real Thing's fortunes changed forever after highly successful songwriters Ken Gold and Michael Denny contacted Tony Hall requesting that they write a song for the band, but we're now looking for a homegrown UK hit. What was it like having a song penned by some of the best in the business who had such a track record for chart success?
Ken Gold knew Jerry Shorey.
Right.
He had this song called You To Me Are Everything and one or two more things. That he was hiking around, because that's what you used to do in them days. You used to hike your songs around to different publishers.
That's
Jerry
right.
Shorey advised him to come in and see Tony Hall, because he's got a great group, he said, called The Real Thing. He says, which I've just done a single for, Stone Cold Love Affair. He says, and you might be interested in the song. So when he came in to the office, I was there when he came in.
Amazing.
And he played the song, You To Me, the demo. And me and Tony had it signed, sealed, delivered before he left the office.
That's absolutely amazing.
And basically, that's how You To Me Are Everything came about. He'd never produced a record. It was the first record he'd ever produced.
And of course, it was Gold Dust.
And it was Gold Dust. Basically, that's the story of You To Me Are Everything. It was written by Ken Gold and Mickey Dent. And that was their first hit record. Now, they went on to work with people like the Nolans. They had hits with. They wrote hits for.
Right.
They wrote hits for a band called Delegation.
Right.
With a song. And, Yeah, they went on to have, a bit of success. But the main success, like, as I say, was with The Real Thing. Together, we were magic.
A magic combination, yes. He's definitely, performed well in all of their music and such like. Now, it was released in May 1976. When you were recording the song, did you get the feeling that something special was happening?
No, we didn't. We just loved the song, and it was just another song that we were going in to record. We didn't have enough experience to think things like that. Our manager might have, Tony Hall might, because he'd had hits before. And don't forget, I mean, he had all Black Sabbath gold discs on his wall and everything, because, I mean, as I say, he's very respected in the music business. So he might have been excited about it, but he certainly wasn't letting on to us just in case he didn't want to, bring us down if nothing happened with it, because we'd release.
No, he didn't want to build you up for you to drop. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes.
So he might have been excited, but to us, it was just another song we were going in to record, which we liked, which was a nice song, and we went in and recorded.
And you also went on to Top of the Pops 5 times to promote it. What was it like appearing, and who were you on with, if you can remember?
Can't remember who we were on with, to be honest, but it was true. Top of the Pops was the dream of anybody.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we did it so many times in the 70s. It became our second home, it was. But that first time, you never have a feeling like it. To be on that set on Top of the Pops, It was quite unbelievable.
Quite surreal, I bet, because you'll have watched it at home on the telly, and then you're on it.
Yeah, I used to watch every week. Top of the Pops.
I did. I loved it.
All of a sudden, you're on it. Amazing. And
you're being repeated on the telly, on BBC and 4 and such like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these years later, which is like, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, you're in a time capsule there forever.
Yeah.
Now, the single was selling 30,000 copies per day in the scorching summer of 1976 and was picked up by Radio 1 in the UK. The Wurzels Combine Harvester was at the helm, but you managed to knock them off the top spot and spend 3 weeks at the top. Now, your hard work certainly paid off. Where were you when you found out the good news?
I was actually living in London at the time. I was just hanging in London. Yeah. And got the call off our manager. And I had no money to get into his office in Carnaby Street, so I had to walk.
Wow.
From East Finchley into town. And the first thing I bought, he lent me the money to go and get a hat in Bond Street, and that was the hat that I wore on Top of the Pops. Proper set.
Excellent. That's a great story. I love that. Now, was there a party after the news?
No, we didn't party. And we weren't that type of band. It was just, it was just unbelievable feeling. Everyone was so high, so high. It was great. But we weren't that type of band where it's partying and things.
No. You were just like celebrating that you've made it.
With our family. I mean, Eddie was with his family because he had a few girls by then. Dave had a son by then. Ray was hanging and I was hanging. Basically we just did what we did.
Excellent. Now, you followed up your chart success with another hit written by Golden Denny, Can't Get By Without You, which was released on the 27th of August 1976 and reached number 2 in the UK charts, remaining in the top 40 for 10 continuous weeks. And Can You Feel the Force was another big hit in 1979, scoring as high as number 5. Now, Chris, you had a gap of singles from 1980 onwards, but then The Real Thing were back on Top of the Pops with the decade remix of You To Me Are Everything, and also Can't Get By Without You back on the charts. What was it like being back on the show and scoring number 5 with You To Me Are Everything and number 6 with Can't Get By Without You?
Yeah, and we went back in with Can You Feel the Force as well?
Yes.
Back in the charts with that as well. And the album.
Yeah, of course, yes.
The original album. We enjoyed it more in 86 than 76 because we knew what we'd wasted.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to let it happen again. And stability-wise, you know, these things don't last. And we learned that the hard way when we started to wane a bit.
Yes.
You know, so when we got that chance again, it was fantastic being on there again. It was exactly the same second time round as was the first time. The only difference is that obviously, although they sold as many, records were selling a few more then, and it depends on who you're in the chart with at that particular point in time.
Of course.
But it was just a wonderful feeling to be back high in the chart again, hitting a whole new generation.
That's right.
And give us another decade.
It was, that's right. It was great as well. And I bet you the atmosphere was completely different from when you were on in the 70s because it was all balloons and, you know, it was like neon lights. And
yeah, it was great, you know. Like I say, we'd learned a lot more by then. And so
we were able to enjoy it more.
So we were better as a group by then. So we could put on shows that were even better than they were in the 70s then, you know, because we just knew what we were doing. So we were quite prolific songwriters ourselves, having written Can You Feel the Force, You'll Never Know What You're Missing, Raining Through My Sunshine, the songs like that. So we had a good track record. You know, when we're talking, you talk about the biggies, but it's all the little ones as well in between, like Whenever You Want My Love, Raining Through My Sunshine, You Never Know What You Miss. It's all them that give it depth.
Of course.
You don't have the biggies every song that you do, but it's all the other ones that you put out that aren't quite so big, that spread it all out, you know. And as I say, we were lucky that, I think that them 3 songs are classics, as a matter of fact. I think that the 3 of them, obviously You To Me is the real biggie.
Yes.
I think the 3 songs are all, the 3 of them have become classic songs. And it's not often that a band can say that. They can say they've had 20 hits, but no classics.
Exactly, yes, and they're always played on the radio as well. You can turn a radio station on right now
anywhere
and it'll be one of your songs. Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. I get people who'll come onto my Facebook and they'll say, "Oh, we're just listening to you. We're driving through Bolivia or somewhere."
Like,
you know?
Yes, it's just magic how your music is traveling across the decades and finding, like I say, new audiences every minute and every second of the day around the world. Now, You To Me Everything has subsequently been recognised as the 69th most played record of all time in Great Britain and is listed by the Guinness Book of Hit Singles as one of the top 100 songs of the millennium.
Absolutely.
What an accolade to have in the record books decades on. How do you feel about that?
Feel great. And in the Guinness Book of Records, we've actually got 2. Because Can't Get Eyes in there as well.
Oh, right.
Which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I've got the Guinness Book of Hit Singles here. I've got a few of them on the shelf there. So I'll be having a little hunt through there a little bit later on there.
Yeah. Yeah,
because you've got some great singles. Now, by the way, just on another note, you know, your greatest hits albums and such like, will you be releasing them again on vinyl, saying the vinyl revival's upon us? Which I'll be asking you a question about that a little bit later on.
When they did the film, they put out a greatest hits album.
Yes, right.
And it was a CD.
Yeah.
I can't see, unless we have another huge hit or something, I can't see them putting out a vinyl.
Right.
I don't know. I can't see them putting out a vinyl.
I think it would sell, you know. I think it would sell. I know I would buy it.
Record companies aren't interested in the type of sales that we sell. They're interested in the type of sales that someone like Taylor Swift would sell. You understand what I'm saying? They're not
I know what you mean.
In hundreds of thousands. They're interested in
millions or whatever. Yes, I know what you mean. Yes. But, you know, there's always tomorrow. We'll just have to see what happens. Strangest things have happened at sea.
The real thing in a lucky band. Trust me.
Definitely are. I know that. Now, you have never stopped making music since 1986 and released the best of the real thing and have worked with the Freeloaders, which scored you a top 10 hit in 2005.
Fantastic.
And in this, amazing track as is. What was it like, you know, collaborating for that track?
They did it themselves, basically. And they're lovely guys, you know, I mean, it was just a really good idea that they came up with for it, and we've actually adopted it on stage with the hit it came from, which was Love Such a Wonderful Thing, obviously. And it's great, you know, mixing the two together. And yeah, it's great doing collaborations like that, especially when it gives it a new feel and a new look, you know, which we would never have thought of doing anything like that with it, you know. So it was great. Yeah, it was great.
Now, in the same year, you recorded an updated arrangement of the Beatles' Eleanor Rigby for the critically acclaimed Liverpool #1's album. Now, it remains one of Sir Paul McCartney's favourite ever cover versions of his songs. What was it like for you to get such an honour from Paul?
Very proud. Very, very proud, you know. You see, I don't mind doing covers, but I ain't going to do a cover that's a replica of the record. So if I'm going to do a cover, it's going to be totally and absolutely different and nothing remotely like the original. And that's what Eleanor Rigby was. We put a new slant on it and things. And it was lovely to be acknowledged by Paul as to how much he actually liked it, you know. It's nice.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful to have a fellow Liverpudlian to actually, you know, endorse it as well. I mean, it is such a wonderful song and an iconic song, and you really did put your own stamp on it.
Yes. Yeah. I might remix it, actually. I might remix it.
I think that'll do very well if you remix that. Excellent. We'll listen out for that one on the radio. Now, today, The Real Thing are still in enormous demand, and their touring shows, complete with your 5-piece band, still entertain audiences almost every week of the year. And in 2013, the group captured their live show on CD and DVD, which was live at the Liverpool Philharmonic, which has been hugely acclaimed. And as recently as October 2016, The Real Thing travelled to Australia for their first ever tour down under, wowing audiences in theatres with their legendary energetic shows. Now, sadly, in February 2018, your brother Eddie, who you started this musical journey with, passed away at the age of 73. And his presence is hugely missed. But you and Dave Smith continue to tour, and the legacy as Britain's premier black group endures. What was it? What's it been like moving on from, you know, the passing of your brother? Because obviously, you know, he is still, you know, probably with you in the studio when you're recording and going on these tours. Because it's
very difficult. You know, yes. we had two options. Either we split up or we bring in another singer. And when we thought about it, we thought, if we bring in another singer, it's no longer The Real Thing.
That's right.
It's different if you're 30 years old and you bring in a singer, and then he's with you for another 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. But the way me and Dave looked at it was, in order for us to stand up and say we are the real thing, there ain't no replacing getting done. And we were able to do that only because of technology. The technology that's around at the moment enabled us to put Eddie and Ray's voices on tape.
Right.
Digitally. So that when we're on stage, we can actually have them singing along their parts with me, mine and Dave. So
amazing.
So we've still got that lovely 3-4 part harmony. And we were very fortunate that I did 99% of the lead singing anyway.
Yes.
And it's the voice that people recognise. So we didn't lose that. We still had that original sound anyway. So that's why we decided not to bring in another singer. But it is hard. Yes, they are with us. And basically we've had to move on, you know.
Because as soon as I hear your vocal on the radio, you can hear it's real thing. That is the real thing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, replacing vocals and things like vocalists and things like that, it certainly would rip their heart out of the real thing, as it were. Because they go, it's like, I'm sure it was the Sugar Babes or one of the other groups, they kept on changing all of the lineup. So there's actually no originals there, you know, in these groups and things.
Yeah, but, you know, like I say, with us, we formed the band when we were 14, me and Dave, and we're still...
Yeah, which is amazing. Amazing. A wonderful career together, all three of you as well, in the band there. Now, on October the 3rd, 2024, The Real Thing were awarded the role of Citizen of Honour of the City of Liverpool. And the award recognises people who have made significant contributions to the city and its citizens. And The Real Thing were recognised for their role in restoring Liverpool's reputation in the 1970s and their pioneering work in Black British music. What was it like receiving this honour from your hometown?
Probably the proudest day of my life. It was a fantastic day. Like I say, the Lord Mayor presenting us with our award, and it was like, I just wish Eddie and Ray had been there.
Yes.
To see it, you know. But it was a fantastic day. It was an honour. I wrote a song especially for it, which does resonate with a lot of people. I mean, it's had 38,000 views, and that's only on our website, on our Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Yes.
And it's called Hometown, and we've actually released it 2 weeks ago, along with our Christmas single. So, I think it's probably the song I'm most proud of writing alongside Children of the Ghetto.
From the heart.
And what it's about is nothing heavy. It's just lovely. It's just about Liverpool and my memories of what I feel now when I walk in Toxteth. I can still see all the streets where we used to hang with all our friends.
Right.
I can still see my mum standing by the same bus stop that's still there, going into town. I can still see, like, my uncles and that walking up the avenue to the park, which is the main avenue going through Toxteth. And all the memories are there. All the memories. And what I've done is I did a video of it, which is on our Facebook page.
Right.
Driving through all the different places where we used to hang, and where, you know, the places where we lived, and all them places while the song is getting performed. And it's something, you know, it's something. It's the song I'm most proud of next to Children of the Ghetto. And it's called Hometown.
Hometown. Excellent. Well, we'll have to get that play it on the radio as soon as possible. But talking about music, you've been in the studio recording a festive tune just in time for the holiday season titled Christmas Time. Now, was it something that you always wanted to do? As it does sound magic, and it definitely has the real thing, funky sound.
Yeah, it's great. You know, once again, see, I always wanted to do a Christmas song. But Eddie didn't want to do it because he always thought that to do a Christmas song, it's got to be gimmicky, or it's got to be a little bit ultra commercial. So we never really got down to it. But I always wanted to do one, and I've always had this little thing going round. And I thought, I'm going to do one. I'm going to write one.
Yeah.
And it was so easy because it's nothing heavy. People don't have to think. All I wanted to do was come up with a ditty that at Christmas time could make you feel good. You listen to it. Even if you don't want to go out and spend your 90 pence buying it, it's still to make you feel okay when you're eating your mince pies, or, you know, when you can have a dance to it because it's dancey as well. Yeah. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of doing it, but it is, I know it's corny saying this, but it is something that I always wanted to do. And I'm glad that I've done it. We did it actually for last year, but I finished it a little bit too late to really sort of get it out there. And that's why we decided to go with it this Christmas.
Yeah, because I played it last year and thoroughly enjoyed playing it on the end. People loved it as well. Yeah.
Well, tell them to go out and spend 90 pence on it and put the bloody thing in the charts again.
That's right. We'll get. Well, yes, I'll be plugging away. Don't you worry about that, Chris. Now, do you have any plans for 2025 that you can tell us about? If you can tell us that far ahead, because I believe you've got a tour.
Yeah. Well, one thing we've always been as a touring band. We've never ever stopped touring, so I can't come in and say to you like we're doing a month's tour because it's a whole year tour. So yes, we've got a lot of gigs lined up for next year. I also want to break new ground. When I say new ground, I want to break ground that we don't do often enough. And you know, we've done Holland this year, we've done Germany this year. I want to do more gigs like the likes of Spain, Italy, France, where I know we've got a good route following there. And I want to give people the opportunity to hear the original voice singing the song that they love. And that would be nice. So we're working on that. Our agent's working on that this year. Also, I want to come up with another new album because Day, I think, is a fantastic album. It's still out there. People can still buy it. It's got lovely tracks on it. It's got a fantastic version of Children of the Ghetto on there, by the way. Or the Jazz Cafe, if you're interested in listening. And so I want to come up with a new album for this year, later on this year. And like I say, obviously not neglecting our English fans, we want to do a lot of festivals, a lot of theatres and that this year as well. And that's the main plans of the album. I want to do a new album and I want to explore some new ground as well.
Excellent. Now, where can listeners follow you and buy your music, Chris?
Right. They can follow us on Facebook and our website, which is therealthingofficial.com. Right. Yep. They can buy our records, A Brand New Day. They can buy Hometown. And they can buy Christmas Time on Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, and they can download it from Spotify. All them platforms. And it costs you between 79 pence and 90, so it won't break the bank. So go out there, put the real thing back in the charts where they belong, and we'll be two happy people.
Yes, everybody get downloading now. Get yourself over there. Yes, it's the bargain price between 79 and 99 pence.
That's it.
There you go then. We've sold it. There you go, Chris. Now, the vinyl revival is here. So I must ask you, what was the first record you ever bought? And what is your favourite record of all time that you could play me if you had a record player beside you now?
Right. The first record I ever bought was a song called It's Growing by the Temptations.
Right.
That very first record I ever bought. And it was as a result of seeing them on television for the first time that I'd seen a black group on television.
Wow.
So that was It's Growing by the Temptations. My favourite song of all time, and one of my favourite artists of all time, who is a pure genius,
right,
is.
See
if you can guess.
Who's your favorite?
It's Bill Withers.
Wow! Yes, amazing singer and songwriter as well.
Yeah, but the song is. I don't think he's actually an amazing singer. As a matter of fact, I don't. I just think he's a great singer for doing his own songs. He's got a very unusual style.
Yes.
He is definitely one of my favourite artists. I think his writing, he's a genius.
Yeah.
He's a genius. I think as a lyricist, he's a genius. And like I say, the way he sings his songs is not Luther Vandross, but it's Bill Withers. You know.
Yes, it's his own style.
And he inspired us to write Raining Through My Sunshine, which is my favourite Real Thing song, my favourite Real Thing pop song.
Yes.
My favourite Real Thing song is Children of the Ghetto.
Yeah.
And my favourite song that we've written is Children of the Ghetto, Hometown, and the title track of our album that we released 2 years ago, A Brand New Day. The title track is A Brand New Day, and that's one of my favourite songs that I've written.
And what's your favourite song by Bill Withers, would you put the needle on?
Lovely Day.
Lovely Day, yes. And I like his Ain't No Sunshine as well, actually. Do you like that one?
Pardon?
Do you like his Ain't No Sunshine as well? Ain't No Sunshine?
I love
all of them.
I love them all. I think he's a genius.
Total genius, yeah. Lovely Day. We do love that one. A great summer tune. I like that in the summer, that tune. That brightens my day.
Yeah.
Excellent tune. Well, great choice there, Chris. Thank you very much. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to believe this, Chris, but we've run out of time. After all of this time, we've run out of time. So it just leaves me to say, can you stick around, please? Because we'll have a little chat afterwards. But may I wish you, Chris and Dave, the Real Thing, a happy Christmas and a successful 2025. And would you like to come on the show again? Or have I frightened you away?
I'll come on the show again anytime.
Now, finally, Chris, please could you introduce your funky new Christmas single, Christmas Time?
Right. Please look in your purses, look in your wallets. Get 79 pence and put it on the table. That's how much it costs if enough of you go out and buy the Real Thing single on iTunes or Amazon. We'll be back in the charts within 3 weeks. You'll see our happy smiling faces on television all over the Christmas, smiling away, singing, "It's Christmas time," to all you lovely people. So go out and buy the single. And here it is, Christmas Time by The Real Thing.
Excellent. You've definitely sold that one, Chris. Thank you very much. Well, I wish you all the very best, and we'll see you in 2025. Merry Christmas.
2025. Thank you.